Mojtaba is reportedly planning revenge after the US strike on the tallest bridge, with Israel's roads now in focus. Iran is now threatening to hit Israel's key highways, raising fears of soldiers and civilians being trapped. After targeting food, water, and telecom, Iran may now be preparing to sabotage Israel's road network. 1 month into the war, Iran is reportedly moving to completely cripple Israel's infrastructure. Amid intensifying conflict, Donald Trump announced that Iran's tallest bridge had been destroyed on April 2nd. His statement came just hours after he warned that the United States could bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages. Trump also shared a video on Truth Social showing an airstrike hitting Iran's B-1 bridge, confirming its collapse. The reported US strike on the Karaj bridge has raised fears of possible retaliatory attacks targeting Israel's key highways. At the same time, indirect talks are said to be ongoing between US Vice President JD Vance and Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. Pakistan's army chief, Syed Asim Munir, is reportedly mediating these sensitive backchannel exchanges. According to reports, Washington may be open to a ceasefire if Iran agrees to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Vance has also reportedly warned that Trump's patience is wearing thin as tensions continue to escalate. A US source claims that planned military operations could take up to 2 to 3 weeks without a diplomatic breakthrough. Meanwhile, Iran has allegedly threatened retaliation, with reports suggesting Israel's major highways could be targeted. The strike marks a significant escalation in the conflict, with civilian infrastructure hit and casualties reported in Iran. Global concerns are rising as Iran continues to restrict movement through the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting critical oil supplies. Following the bridge strike, Trump suggested that Iran's power plants could be the next targets. He added that Iran must act quickly, warning that further strikes on critical infrastructure may follow if tensions remain unresolved.
Tonight, Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are in a true sense joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel. something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash, green cash, took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts, had I not terminated that terrible deal. And I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible, and they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily.
After earlier efforts seen as trying to trigger a food crisis in Israel, Iran is now being accused of also aiming at the country's water infrastructure, widening worries about basic civilian systems coming under fire. On the night of April 1st to 2nd, a ballistic missile launched from Iran and reportedly carrying a cluster warhead struck central Israel, marking a sharp escalation in both weapons used and areas targeted. Even though areas around Tel Aviv, Israel's largest city, came under attack, officials initially reported no injuries, as residents tried to process missiles landing so close to heavily populated districts. In the ultra-Orthodox city of Bnei Brak, one Iranian bomblet reportedly burst a major water main, showing how a single fragment can disrupt daily life by damaging essential urban pipes. The Times of Israel reports that the blast in Bnei Brak sent rescue teams racing to the impact site, where crews worked to secure the area, manage flooding, and check for any hidden casualties. The Israel Defense Forces later confirmed that the missile aimed at central Israel carried a cluster bomb, a weapon that releases multiple smaller explosives and raises concern about wider potential harm. Cluster bombs are designed to open in mid-air before impact, scattering many smaller bomblets over broad area, increasing the spread of damage and leaving dangerous unexploded pieces behind. At the same time, sirens sounded near the northern city of Haifa as Hezbollah launched rockets from Lebanon, adding pressure on Israel with threats emerging from more than one front. Iran's military claims it has launched drone attacks on what it calls key industrial and high-tech hubs inside Israel, describing them as strategic centers vital to the country's capabilities. Tehran says the March 31st drone wave specifically hit important telecom and industrial centers in Israel, aiming to disrupt both its civilian infrastructure and its wartime logistics. Iran's forces further allege that their targets included sites linked to global giants such as Siemens and AT&T inside Israel, accusing these firms of indirectly supporting its adversary systems. According to Iranian statements, some of the strikes were directed at facilities close to Ben Gurion Airport and the crucial port city of Haifa, both seen as critical nodes in Israel's security network. Iranian outlet Press TV reported that a Siemens-linked industrial software center near Ben Gurion was singled out, portraying it as a brain hub for advanced control systems. Iran claims the technology developed at this center supports weapons production lines and the design of sophisticated military systems, making it a high-priority target in their eyes. Officials in Tehran also pointed to a telecom research and development hub in Haifa, which they linked to AT&T, saying it was hit because of its role in advanced communications. Tehran alleges this Haifa facility develops networks, cloud platforms, and artificial intelligence tools that underpin Israeli military operations, framing the strike as a blow to its digital backbone.